Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now we're getting into the last part of our first project, and that is creating a little micro interaction. And there's a couple different things that are going to go into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press V to kind of get onto my little cursor here, and I'm going to select a couple of these screens, start a new flow altogether. I'm going to click this one and this one. So I've held down Shift while I clicked both of these screens, and I'm going to hold down Options, and you'll see that kind of duplicate button. And I'll hold down Shift and drag it down. So there we go. I'm going to delete that. I mean, you can do this any which way you want. You can hold down Command C and, go down here and paste it. Totally up to you. But I'm going to keep this really simple. Okay, so a couple different things. We can remove the more photos that we created because we're not going to be worried about anything here in regards to dragging. What we really want to focus on actually is this heart. We want to actually create some sort of, click and pop up or something where, you click this, it'll turn to red, and maybe we'll get like a little notification here. In one of my previous courses, what I did was I actually created a full-on micro interaction, but that's pretty complex. And you honestly don't need to go that entire route. You can just keep it really simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if I were to click prototype and click on saved outline, right now you can tell that, they aren't actually named the same. So we just have it, smart animating like normal. The flow is already started automatically. It's called a flow to. We'll just call this a micro interaction. And micro interactions are these kind of small little interactions on, buttons like a hover or like a ball bouncing. It's the smaller things when you're interacting with these UI elements. Okay, so I'm going to do the same for this filled version of the heart, and I'm going to go back and we'll just take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to go to the micro interaction flow right here. And, just to scale that up a bit, there we go. I have it set to fill, scale down, or up to fill. So it's going to fill the entire vertical space because of the phone. So if I were to click that, you still kind of get a nice animation because it's going to dissolve nicely. But what we can do is we can actually extend this a bit. So if I were to shift and hold that, and if I were to create like intermittent screen right in the middle, let me just Command C, Command V that, much more easier. So we can delete this flow because that's what's going to do. It's going to actually create a flow. We can just click that minus button because that's not where it's going to start. Now things are looking a little bit more complex. What we're going to do is we're going to create a hover animation. So instead of on tap, we're going to be doing, let's go ahead and do like on click because it'll be the same type of animation. So maybe touch down and then this one on touch up. Okay. And we're going to just modify this one a bit. We're going to go into saved outline. Go into our design panel here, because what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this is going to be a click. You'll see something happen here, and then it's going to turn into that. So what could happen are a couple different things. We can just keep this one simple as well. So if we go into our saved outline, we'll see that there's nothing really here. We can even just take this vector if we wanted. And we'll set it to 100. We're actually going to create a fill for it. So now you've seen this fill. And what do we got? So we'll just keep it white, but we're actually going to, we can do black and, reduce the fill a bit. Like that. And if I hold down Shift and Option at the same time, I can scale that larger. So I have it 8 pixels around the border, and you'll see that it kind of just turns into a square. And the problem is because this is set to clip content. So I'm going to unclip that. So what's going to happen is I'm going to see that click and it's going to go to the next screen. Let's see. And when I unclick this, it's going to just go back to the original. So let's kind of see, boom. So I'm not sure if you caught that really quickly, but if I click, you saw that little movement there. This is where you want to start adjusting the timing. So I have it set to 500. So you'll be able to kind of see that a bit more. And you can even do it the other way around. If I, create another screen here, and instead of going directly there, I'm going to take that line that was going to the original one and bring it to the next. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm literally going to go on tap. I'm going to go touch down 300 and touch up. We'll go 500. And this is where we can just kind of like copy. We're going to take that vector that we just created right there, Command C or Control C, go into this saved icon, and we can take the exact same vector and paste it in there. So it's in there, but now we just have to bring it to the back, delete the old one. And remember, go to that saved frame and click clip content, so that way you can see beyond. So we can see what that looks like right there. So now we've created this kind of little cool, like bubbly saved micro interaction. And you're showcasing this really nice little interaction, micro interaction, and we didn't even need to actually, keep the layer names the same in this instance because the dissolve worked the exact same way as like changing an opacity. So we weren't too worried about that, but we were able to kind of create a nice little shadow to show the user that, something is happening here. We did record your interaction and saves a lot of confusion in the future. Now, if we were to go back and we were to start to think about this a little more in detail, Command C, Command V, and we create a copy. I just dragged it and brought it all the way down. So what we could do here is we could actually, modify the navigation a bit. So if I were to think about like, if I have something saved, I want my users to know that they have something saved that's new and they should probably go check it out. Or if they've added something to the cart, like this is another instance where you can kind of go out of the box there and, think about where else these could be used. If I click add to cart, I want to see that pop up somewhere. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing here, but I'm going to create a circle. And the way to create a circle is to press O, the letter O, or you can go up here and select ellipse. And I'm going to hold shift and create a circle inside this little saved navigation item. So I've literally just created the circle. It's in the top right corner of this frame. You can see how it's placed. And I'm going to just like make it red like that. Doesn't matter. And that's it for that. So what we can do here is we can actually take this navigation. We can even copy and paste it in here. There we go. We can even get rid of this screen if we want. So while you're working on different aspects of these micro interactions, you could just kind of copy and paste, these items off screen and work on them individually. Totally up to you. I don't really like working directly onto a prototype. I like to kind of create those items that, are going to change and then modify them and throw them in there later. So, you can do the same thing for here. So I'm going to just Command C. I'm going to delete that and, go back and paste this new one that I just copied over to here. And now you can do the exact same thing for here, but now like if we really want to showcase like a little type of animation, we can do that pretty easily. And you can do that by, you can make this 1 pixel. I'm gonna make this really small. Make this 1 pixel by 1 pixel and just, turn it white so you can't see it. So when this screen does move to here, you're going to see a little ball pop up out of nowhere. And that's enough to kind of let users know that they have something that they should view. It brings attention to different parts of the screen. And that's where you can really use these different types of principles to bring attention to where you want the user to be, whether that's like checking their mail, adding something to a cart, checking out, notifications. It's really helpful for stuff like that. So let's take a look at what it looks like. So we're at the beginning of our micro interaction flow. And if I click this, we're going to see that circle come behind there, and then it's going to transition to the new screen where there is the red icon over here, and we'll see that pop up as well. So let's take a look. So we have like a little screen like that, and it goes away. Pretty cool. I mean, one other thing we can do here is instead of making this white, we can actually keep it this same color. So I'm going to copy that color code that's over there. I just have the actual frame selected and it'll show me the selection colors. So I'm going to go back to the saved one over here with the small circle. And I'm going to go to FFF, which is white, because that's going to be the vector. You can even just go and select it directly. And I'm going to actually make it red, but I'm going to press like 0 to ensure that it is 0 opacity. So we're going to do opacity, we have scale there, and color all in one for that micro interaction. So let's see what that kind of looks like. We're going to start again. So that's like a little bit better. The other one had white coming through. So that one's pretty cool. So that's how you can make a little small micro interactions and multiple flows within one larger project. Right here, we've already been able to kind of dictate, how you can navigate through this application, different ways that you can view similar photos, different ways that you can connect the narrative between screens by keeping the image the same. And that's something we're going to get into when we talk about like motion design principles. And we also talked about things like micro interactions, ways to kind of make those within Figma, but also ways that we can, bring attention to certain areas, whether that's the actual click that we saw right there, or whether that's seeing something pop up really quickly at the bottom. And that's your first Figma Smart Animate project. I hope you all learned a lot, and I would really love to see some of your examples, whether that's with the same application here, whether that's with a new application. Go out there, experiment before we get into some more complex things.